Hello, YouTube family. I just want to get on here and do a quick recap of today's Happy Crappy Hour, which got interrupted and stopped streaming from YouTube for some reason. So there are two parts to today's longer version of the Happy Crappy Hour. One is 24 minutes long, and the other one is, I think, 31 minutes. So you have both halves of it. Right now is the recap, and today's topic was narcissists and their new supply are crippled by their own lies. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I do not want you to fall into the same trap. I want you to be able to avoid the trap that they fall into so that you don't destroy your own life or cripple yourself, okay? And what I mean by the lies they believe is that they believe that in their fantasy and in their delusion that their perspective, their feelings, their interpretation of an event is the accurate and only possible interpretation, okay? They are not open to understanding. They're not open to other people's perspective of what just happened. They're not open to the truth coming in because they believe that what the lie that they are telling themselves is the truth, all right? I had a narcissist tell me that she believed that a family member killed their dying father. And I tried to get her to understand that maybe that's not true, and she would not believe it. Okay, she would not believe it. She not only would she not believe that, but she had already decided in her own mind that her perspective of what happened was the truth. And here he was. He's minutes from dying, and essentially she believes that one of her siblings gave him too much of the drug that's supposed to ease his pain. All right. And that's what killed him. That's what she believes. So here you guys go. That's what I don't want you to fall into. So here she is believing this, and how does it cripple her? Well, she goes on to hold this grudge against this sibling. She goes on to fully believe that this sibling is a murderer, and not only that, she gossips about it, right? She goes on to tell the other siblings what her perspective is and that the one sibling killed their father. And this makes her look like a crazy person, all right? That's what cripples the narcissist and the new supply as they perpetuate the lie and the fantasy world that they live in. They go on and they spread gossip. They go on and they hold on to grudges. The main thing is that the narcissist does this, right? But the new supply starts taking on the same characteristics and the same personality as the narcissist when they start to want to perpetuate the fantasy that they live in. So that means they have to hold on to this grudge against whoever they have an offense from. And then they not only do they hold on to the grudge, they have to convince other people that this person is a bad person. So they're going to come off either looking like a complete crazy person, or that they're going to start collecting people, flying monkeys, who believe and buy their story. And now that lie continues to grow. And now they have to sustain that lie, that fantasy, that delusion. And they have to keep it going. Otherwise, the people, the flying monkeys that believed them, are going to call them on it. You cripple yourself if you perpetuate lies in your life and want to cling to them, a perspective that could possibly be wrong. So here's what you do. You have to stop and think, did I misinterpret that? Did I misunderstand that? Was there something else going on that I did not catch, right? You want to examine yourself as you go. You do not want to end up like the narcissist or the new supply when they crash in the end, right? You want to be with the truth. And the truth, by the way, is not easy to hear. Even telling yourself the truth at times is not easy to hear because you have to humble yourself and say, wow, I really got that wrong, or I was really in a bad place and I got insulted or I got offended, and that person probably did not mean to offend me. I was just in a vulnerable state when that happened, and they didn't know that I was in this vulnerable state, and then I wouldn't forgive them. It's like, well, did they apologize to you? If they apologize to you, just say, okay, I forgive them and let it go. I do not want you to be crippled by the same kind of delusions that the narcissist has. I don't want you to be crippled by the same lies that the narcissist tells himself or herself, right? So, first of all, don't lie to yourself, or you won't fix the things in you that keep you back or sabotages your life and your relationships. Yeah, lies that you tell yourself will sabotage your life and your relationships. This is why you want to examine, where am I believing things that are not completely accurate, okay? You want to do that. Narcissists do not do that. They just go on like a bulldog. They just run in there and they just push their way in, and they're like, this is it, and this is the truth, and I'm not backing down. And okay, the problem there is then they create a grudge, okay? What follows these lies will be grudges. The lies will convince them that they were offended and they should take offense, and they should hold this other person accountable for the offense that they took now. So they're going to start holding a grudge against that person, just like the one I was telling you about at the beginning here. And they're not going to let it go. They have to hold on to this grudge. This grudge will grow like a cancer inside of them. And I don't want you to have the same thing happening, because this happens to normal people as well, not just narcissists. It happens to be very narcissistic, the way this happens, because when you believe lies and you cling to lies and you create grudges and you cling to those grudges, that is what narcissists do. That also normal people could do, but we end up releasing ourselves, right? We end up leaving that behind. We end up letting in the sunlight to shine on that darkness and the lies and expose the lies, and then we can accept the truth. That is the difference between what we do and what narcissists do. So don't lie to yourself, or you will not be able to fix the things in your life. You will not be able to fix the parts in your life that are broken, right? And then here's the deal. Don't hold the grudge. You have to let that go. You have to admit to yourself that even if the other person was trying to offend you, that's their problem, okay? That's their problem. That's not your problem to hold and carry and then begrudge them for the rest of your life. Because here's the deal. Once you hold on to a grudge and you want to hold on to that grudge, it will resurface your entire life. Every time something happens or you see something or someone says something that might remind you of the person you're holding the grudge against, that's going to conjure up all those negative feelings. It'll conjure up the grudge. It'll conjure up the dark feelings that you had towards that person, the unforgiveness, right? The anger, the frustration, the offense that you took. You're not going to be able to let yourself go, because that grudge is keeping you tied and chained to your perception of what happened, right? Even if that perception was a total misperception, you will cling to it with this grudge. Here's the other part to lying to yourself. Once you start holding on to a grudge, you're also going to start gossiping, because you have to sustain that grudge. You have to embellish that grudge. You have to get others to believe you in order to keep that grudge going, right? You have to feel like this. I'm telling you, like, this is what narcissists are going through. They have to feel like other people believe them in order for them to keep this grudge going, right? And it's also a part of retribution, right? They want to get back at the person they have a grudge against. So they want to turn as many people against that person as they can. So they will gossip about that other person. Now, there are ways for you to share an incident with people that you trust to get their perspective. Just don't name the person you had the incident with, right? Don't allude to details that will give them an idea of who that person is. And maybe they can give you like, oh, well, maybe the other person meant it this way, or their perspective was that way. And they can help you not hold on to a grudge. They can help you not allow that to grow into a grudge, into an offense that's so big that you have to hold a grudge against. All right? So don't gossip. Don't name the person. Be truthful with yourself. Humble yourself to the point where you can ask yourself, was my perspective completely accurate? Or was I tired, angry, hangry? Was I easily offended that day? Was I going through other problems that day? Be honest with yourself. And here's the other thing, when you are not lying to yourself, when you're not gossiping about the other person, when you're not holding a grudge against the other person, here's the last part. You apologize. If you did something wrong, if you see that there was a point in there that you could have done something differently, and maybe not that you meant to cause or make the problem worse, but apologize for your part in it, right? If you can apologize, apologize. Now, even if the other person doesn't accept your apology, or maybe it's happened so long ago it doesn't make sense for you to call them up and apologize, even if you never get forgiveness from the other person, forgive yourself, okay? Forgive yourself. You've acknowledged now where you went wrong. You acknowledge now what you did wrong. These are the things that narcissists do not do, and that's what holds them back, you guys. That's what sabotages them, and that's what cripples them. So if you can forgive yourself for recognizing, like, you were believing a lie for a long time, you embellished a lie for a long time, you held on to a grudge for a long time, you even gossiped possibly for a long time, you need to, first of all, if you can, make that right, and second of all, forgive yourself, okay? Forgive yourself, and especially if it's from a long time ago. Once you're able to forgive yourself, you can let it go. You can be free now. You've accepted the truth. You saw where you went wrong. You're no longer going to sabotage your life anymore. You're no longer going to perpetuate the lie. You're no longer going to hold on to the grudge. You are no longer going to gossip about it, and you can move on, right? You're not going to make things worse anymore. You're going to start making them better. Well, thank you guys for watching. I wanted to free you from the kind of things that narcissists imprison themselves with. Be free of this. Do not let the narcissist type personalities and characteristics latch onto you and make you and imprison you the same way they're imprisoned. If you guys would watch a commercial once in a while, or subscribe and comment and give me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And if you want to catch the full live stream today, that is also posted under Happy Crappy Hour if you want to take a look at that. And I will talk to you soon. See you next week.